So what do you notice right now when you're watching this video? What's going on with you? What's going on with your body? When you get in and out of a chair, for instance, what do you notice? Do you sense your head tipping back? That's what happens for 99% of people when they get in and out of a chair. The head tips back, the neck compresses, and then because there are more joints in the neck, that means bone connecting with bone, than anywhere else in the body, tipping the head back, compressing the neck, tightening the neck, sends all sorts of layers of unnecessary tension throughout the body. The older you get, the more you repeat this compression, the more you get caught in a straitjacket of your own unconscious habits of needless compression. That severely limits what you can do comfortably and well in life. So what's going on with your lower back? Many people kind of clench their lower back when they get in and out of a chair. You find yourself holding your breath when you get in and out of a chair. Most people do. Do you start compressing your whole torso when you simply think about sitting down? Most people do. Do you lock your knees when you get in and out of a chair? Most people do. When you walk, what do you notice? Is one shoulder taller than the other? Are parts of you collapsed? You sense yourself overstriding. What's leading? You should lead with your head. The head should release forward, leading the whole body into length and motion. You're thinking your directions of a free neck, head directing forward and up, back lengthening to widen, thinking your knees forward, all points in the stride. When you take a breath, when you speak, what happens with your neck? Does it tighten? Does it compress? Do you sense yourself clenching? You notice you're tightening your whole torso when you speak? Most people do. You notice that the stimulus to project your voice causes you to compress more than if you were having a quiet conversation. I remember my first Alexander Technique teacher did not think she was succeeding with me. She didn't think I'd come back after the first lesson. For the first 15 or so lessons, she thought she was failing with me. Why? Because I had a hard time with the question, what do you notice? And after 3 years of training, I'm doing better. I remember at the beginning of our work each lesson, she'd always ask, did you have any Alexander Technique moments since our last lesson? I never had any. I've seen that most people do not have my problem to my degree of severity with articulating what they notice in their body, in their spirit, in their thinking, and their emotions when they deal with various stimuli. So why am I so disconnected from my body? I think it was trauma in early childhood. Like my mother died when I was 4, and the previous 3 years she was dying of cancer, so I was staying with a lot of different families and a lot of different homes, and not all of them were great. So I think like a budding porn star, I learned to disassociate from my body. I remember shagging this porn star, and we'd been friends for a while, and then afterwards we just lay back and started talking, and she said that she'd been sexually abused as a child. And not to put that on my blog, she never mentions that in interviews because it's such a cliche among sex workers, but when she was sexually abused as a child, she just kind of disconnected from her body, and that's what enables her to perform in pornography. I've spent most of my life in my head rather than noticing my body, so it's been a big challenge for me to learn to reconnect with my body, to notice what is going on in my neck and in my back as I sit down, to be able to articulate this. Despite this problem, I've made at least average progress through my lessons. A friend said to me the other day, I don't think I've known any student here who's had as many doubters as you've had. It's because I was so unaware of my body when I started. I had a heck of a time following the Alexander prescriptions. I was sunk down, I was collapsed, I was down in my trunk, I was lost in habits of unconscious and needless tension and compression, bad use. So I've made great progress while engaging in this question reluctantly and haltingly. Perhaps the kinesthetic experience of working under the hands, verbal instructions of a good Alexander teacher are enough to guide one to good use. And if so, then others can learn the same way I did.